Hey Houston, I am Jason Hammond. I am the life science educator at the Children's Museum Houston. I am also the science outreach educator, and today I'm here to talk to you about seed balls. And I'm hired to talk to you about those because of the wonderful, wonderful people at Total. They are sponsoring our World Cleanup Week, and we are counting down to World Cleanup Day, which is this Saturday, the 19th. All this week, you're gonna see all kinds of really cool stuff that has to do with our environment, how to keep our environment safe, healthy, and clean. And seed balls are one way of doing that. Now, I am in our beautiful eco station right now here at the museum because we have a budding botanist area over there, we have a compost area, and this all has to do with that, becoming a gardener and keeping your gardens nice and lush, full of native plants, native flowers, native vegetables, things like that. So, to make a seed ball, it's quite easy. There's not much you have to do. The most important thing you have to remember is your ratios. So let me go ahead and talk about what all this stuff on the table is. Over here I have some red clay right over here. This red clay actually comes from Ohio, and it's a very iron-rich clay that holds in water very well, so that when you make your seed ball, you go ahead and get a lot of good water enclosure and good nutrients to the seeds you put inside of it. Right here I have some topsoil mixed with some compost. Now you're going to see a video about compost as well this week, so you'll learn how to make the compost. I had to put a little bit of topsoil in mine because I didn't have quite enough compost, but it doesn't matter. Both of those together will still make the nutrients that are needed for the seed. Right here I have seeds. These are zinnia seeds, and basically I'm basing my ratios on the amount of seeds I have, and you'll see what I mean in a moment about that. I have some water to help mix up the seeds. I have a bowl with a wooden spoon to mix the seeds, and I have some measuring devices, a measuring spoon, a tablespoon, and a measuring cup, a 1/3 cup, that will help you mix. Over here I actually have some seeds that I made earlier this last week, and I'm going to show you how these are different than the ones I'm going to make because I let them dry already, and then I'm going to use these as an example later on how to actually plant these, okay? Because you don't technically plant seed balls. You'll see what I'm going to do in a moment. And this pan over here with the yellow sheet of paper inside of it, this is where I'm going to put the seed balls I'm making today to help those dry, okay? So it's pretty easy. Now, what is a seed ball? Basically, it's making a little ball of nutrient-rich soil with the seeds inside, so you don't have to go out and plant them. What you basically do with the seed ball is you sort of throw it. You toss it away, okay? And then you let nature take its course. The reason why is each seed ball, and you'll see what I mean in a moment, is a little natural ecosystem all on its own. So once you throw it, Mother Nature will take over. She'll water it. She'll let everything kind of dissipate to where it needs to be dissipated. She'll allow the seeds to take root in the soil you throw it to, and everything will grow on its own. That's why it's a good idea to use a native plant or flower or vegetable, so that you're keeping things to Houston. That's what's good about it. Now, what I was talking about earlier, ratios, is really important. You want to have a correct amount of nutrients from all the different soils we're going to use and from the seeds, so that everything grows well, okay? So we're going to help the seeds to germinate. Here's one thing you got to keep in mind. Houston tends to be a very humid environment, so if you leave your seed balls out while they're drying, they will possibly take root at that moment and they won't be able to be tossed after that. So make sure when you're drying your seed balls out, you put them somewhere where they'll stay dry and get nice and compacted together. All right, do you want to make a seed ball? Because I do. They're really fun to make, and it's a good time, okay? So let's go ahead and do it. Now again, ratios. Inside my bag of seeds here, I have about 1/3 of a cup, all right? So here's how the ratios will go. It's a 1 part seed, 3 part compost soil, 5 part red clay. Now, because I know that there's about 1/3 seeds, I know that with my 1/3 measuring cup, I'm going to put 5 1/3 cups inside my bowl of the red clay, 3 1/3 cups of my soil into the bowl, and then I'm just going to toss those inside as well. Okay? So you don't have to do it exactly how I'm doing. If you have a cup of seeds, just make sure you put 5 cups of clay, 3 cups of soil, and 1 cup of seed. And you're gonna get a yield a lot with that. With this amount, I'm gonna get about 21, 22, 23, depending how big I make them, seed balls, okay? So the only thing you have to really worry about is the water. And the water doesn't really have a ratio. You just don't want to put too much in, because if you get it too wet, you're not going to be able to put them together. Now, with this amount, I figured out my water. So if you do the same amount as I do, just follow the water I do, and you'll be okay. All right, you ready to make some seed balls? Let's get in a little bit closer here so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll have some fun. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to put the red clay inside the bowl. And remember, I told you, it's going to be 1/3 cups, and it's gonna be 5 of them. Now, the cool thing about a seed ball is you don't have to be too exacting. You don't have to level them off each time. You just wanna make sure that you scoop out 5 times and you have it almost to the top. Don't overflow it too much though. So you just get it together, and you see right there, that's fine. And you just put it in. There's 2. And you'll get messy, so if you do this outside, it's not a big deal. If you do it inside, you'll want to put like a covering down. Here's 4, and then here's 5. Okay, nice, beautiful red clay. So the next thing I'm going to do is my soil. I'm going to use the same measuring cup. It doesn't matter. There's a little bit of red clay that gets in there. Now remember, it's 3 times now. So I'm going to scoop up 1. And you can see all that good soil right there. I'm gonna scoop up 2, and I'm gonna scoop up 3. There we go. Now it seems like the soil took over, but when I start to mix it, you're gonna see that the soil does not take over. So I'm gonna move this to the side, and I'm gonna start to mix this up without the seeds first. So I'm just gonna mix it up, and you can see the soil gets mixed in with the clay pretty good. All right, there we go. So that's really nice. And I'm not gonna go ahead and measure my seeds out, because I already measured them, because it's windy, they might blow away. I'm just gonna open up my bag and dump them, but it was a 1/3 cup. So I'm gonna put my seeds in right there, and I'm gonna put that bag aside, and then I'm gonna mix it up again, try to get the seeds all over. Now, those seed balls I'm gonna show you that I built earlier that are dry, I used sunflower seeds. So it's a little different what I did. I actually shoved the sunflower seeds into the middle so they can germinate better. Here, with these zinnias, you can just go ahead and mix them up. All right, and you can see the zinnia seeds still sort of poking through, but you got this nice little red strata right here now. Okay, now I'm gonna add water, and I'm gonna be very careful how I add my water. I'm gonna go ahead, I poured a cup of water, and I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with 5 tablespoons of water. You don't need a lot of water. So I'm gonna start with 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm gonna start to mix it again. And you're gonna start to see it's gonna get a little bit wet now, start to clump up a little bit. But it doesn't look quite enough at this point. It looks like I might need a little bit more. It's a little dry still, which I anticipated. So I'm gonna add, after I mix this up a little bit, I'm gonna add 3 more, maybe 2 to start with, because this one's pretty good so far. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a few more. So you just gotta be really careful with the water. I'm gonna add 3. I think 3 will be good. All right. And then I'm gonna mix this all up. Yeah, 3 is really good. That's good. I'm trying to get the consistency I want. It's almost like sort of thick cake batter that you want, or pancake batter. And there's a good test you can use to know that you have the right consistency. When you start to roll the balls, if they stick to your finger, you've done well. But you can remove it pretty easily. All right. And I can already see the seeds are all over the place in here, so that's real good. All right, so let me go ahead and test it. Okay, so as long as it's kind of sticking to your finger like this, you're good to go. And it needs to be about the size of a dime, but again, it's okay if it's a little bigger, if it's a little smaller. And all you want to do is you're just going to roll it up like this in your hands. Your hands will get dirty, it's okay, that's what gardeners do, they get dirty hands. And then just set it inside your pan, all right? And you're just gonna keep making them. Oh, I just grabbed a good seed right there, which is cool. You're just gonna keep making them, and then put them down. You don't want them to touch each other, because then you're just gonna have this huge, when they dry, they're gonna stick together, and if you try to break them apart, they'll crumble apart, okay? And you grab another piece, and you just keep making them, all right? And like I said, with this amount, you should get like 21, 22, depending on how much you make, seed balls, okay? So, they might roll a little bit when you put them inside. It's okay, just kind of move them around. Grab another piece. And there you go. And you get the idea. Just keep doing that until you've gone through everything. Also scrape the sides. Use your spoon to scrape the sides down. Don't leave anything in there that you absolutely don't have to leave in there. Get as much out as you can. So, like I said, this is all about our World Environment Day, which is September 26th. It's all about World Cleanup Day, which is September 19th. And one thing that you can really think about while you're doing this is, like, if you're gonna throw these out into, like, say you live in an apartment complex, or you live in your own house, or you're just like, oh, hey, there's a field over here, I'm gonna see if I can grow there. One thing you're gonna wanna do is clean up the area first. You wanna remove all the trash that you can, any plastic, anything like that, because that will harm the plant's ability to grow, okay? So that's what this is all about, is making sure our environments are nice and clean so that things can grow. Now, I did tell you that it's an interesting way in which you plant these. You don't plant them by digging a hole and putting them in a hole. If you want to make it sort of more uniform, you can sort of like put your finger, make a little divot, and set it on top of the divot and move on to the next one. But really, the best way of doing it is just taking the ball and tossing it. And I'm going to toss a couple right now. So I'm going to toss them this way, I'm going to toss them that way, and we're going to see them kind of move across the air as we toss them. Okay, everybody, well, I hope you have a really good time making these seed balls. It's really fun. It's a good way to spend it, even indoors, to spend a rainy afternoon, and the next day, a couple days later, you throw them. Just make sure you wait 2-3 days to let them dry before you go and toss them. And it doesn't matter where you toss them. If it's raining outside, toss them. If it's sunny outside, toss them. If it's humid, toss them. It's all good, okay? So once again, I really want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank the good people of Total again for allowing me to do this video, and I hope you have a wonderful World Cleanup Day on Saturday the 19th. Hope to see you soon, and thanks a lot for joining me. I'm Jason. Bye.